Yeah, so Cindy and a couple other people asking about Redfin. You need to know your Redfin stats. You don't really have to talk about your stats necessarily if you don't have any. I know we've got a wide range of people here, so if you've got stats there and you're in MAPS coaching, I know that you are serious enough about your business that you've got decent stats, right? Redfin stats are not good. So I've never met a market where they are good. They average like 93% to list price. You know, start asking questions and sharing that story. Pull up the Redfin sales. You can find stats that show how rough of a road that is for them. And has there ever been a time, remember with 1% with Redfin, they're still paying a buyer commission. It doesn't cost just 1%. So are you talking about 1% versus your 3.3 or your 2.5, depending on your market? It's a much smaller difference. So make sure that we are talking and comparing numbers dollar for dollar. A 1% option has always been around. So please don't confuse that with all of a sudden getting better results, or the 1% would have taken over back in the 80s. Right? There's a reason why we continue to get people more money. Right? The market average, use the market average if you want to use a number and you don't have your own stats. The market average with list to sale price, 97%. Maybe it's 99 in some areas, right? Or 101. Redfin's average is typically 7 to 8% less. So has there ever been a time you thought you were saving money and it ended up costing you? This time's like that time. May explain even how their agents get paid. Would that help you understand how they can afford that model? Do you know how they get paid? They hire people willing to work for like $30,000 base salary, and they give them like, I think 10% of the 1%. So I spoke to a Redfin agent that actually sold $1.2 million property and was making $1,200.
Yeah,
right.
About $1,000
purely on volume, right? So where's their motivation? Do they care if your house sells? Are they bending over backwards to call other agents and bring in multiple offers? Or, you know, I will tell you from experience directly, they'll just say, hey, here's your offer, when they get to it, by the way. And then they won't do their due diligence to make sure the buyer's pre-approved. They don't know how to do that or have time because they're actually running 40 properties. Because in order to make any money, that's what they need to do. So they're really just sitting at a desk clicking a little bit. You need more than that in order to get a property sold. If you didn't, even selling it on your own would have taken over rather than the 40 years of professional realtors getting together, negotiating hard to drive your price up and create interest. I was at a listing appointment yesterday, and I left there and I was leaving and they were brand new, and it was past clients of mine from 12 years ago. I hadn't seen them in a long time, and we randomly went to their house after a quick showing because they just decided to move so I could see it again. And so I didn't have comps. I didn't do a whole presentation. I did decide to warn them about some of the ads they may start to notice now that they're thinking about it and what some of the pitfalls are of those companies. So I wrote the script in their brain rather than the ads they see online writing the script. So I said, you're going to see signs for Open Door. Click here and get an offer. And you might be curious what they would offer you. That's fair. Let me do that for you if you need to. Because I can tell you, you don't want to get in their snare of their leads and be bombarded with phone calls and text messages and emails, getting in the middle of your biggest investment. Because Open Door as a net, when you're done with it, is around 10 or 11% in service fees. And they come through with an inspection and reduce all the improvements. They reduce the price by all the improvements needed in order to get it ready to sell at a full retail price. So that bathroom remodel that you could do for $3,000 is now $8,000 on their checklist. Can I tell you what Open Door is? And they said, sure. It's We Buy Ugly Houses. That's been around forever. Call and we'll send you an offer. Cash, right? You do not have an ugly home. And that program is for people that are desperate. Are you desperate? No, we don't have to sell. Great. So just promise me you won't click there because you're going to wish you hadn't. Right? Like, start telling people what to do. And every time they see an Open Door commercial, they're going to like eye roll and be like, ew. And they're going to tell their friends.